Hey there, I'm Emily Brecklaw, the Caffeinated Quilter. In this video, I would like to show you my methods for simple hand piecing. We will go over both how to start and stop a line of stitching and also the running stitch in between them. So grab your fabric and a needle and thimble and let's get started. Okay, so to get started hand piecing, you're going to need some basic supplies. You're going to need your fabric shapes. I have already cut out 2-inch hexagons using from Marty Michelle acrylic templates, and I have used the dots in those to mark where the seams are going to intersect. These are fantastic templates if you are looking for good ones to get you started. And I have a size 10 piecing needle. This is a Tulip brand needle. And I'm using black thread for this demonstration, just to make it easier for you to see the stitches. But of course, on your own project, you're probably going to want to pick a color that matches better with your fabrics and blends in. And I have a thimble on my finger to help with pushing the needle through. And I love using these little thread cutters, ring cutters. You're not having to always pick up scissors, and you can just trim your threads that way. And the last thing I love using is absolutely not necessary, but it helps me. I take a piece of ultra thin or very thin washi tape, and you can find this at most craft stores. And I put a little bit on my thumb here to kind of give me a visual seam allowance when I'm piecing the seams. It kind of helps me make sure I'm on that 1/4 inch seam. So we're going to take our 2 pieces of fabric here, line them up right sides together. Okay, and then you're going to take your needle and you're going to put your needle in right at the little pencil seam dot. You're going to want to look on the back and make sure you got it in the matching up in the back as well. I need to redo that and set mine up a little bit better. Okay, and you're going to take just a tiny little stitch right here. Pull your thread. You want to make sure you leave a good tail there so it doesn't accidentally come undone on you. And then you're going to put your needle exactly back in that same stitch. And then leave your needle about halfway in the fabric. And take your thread coming off the needle, the back end, and go over and behind the needle going down. And then you're going to take this little thread that was coming out of your fabric and you're going to go behind the needle and up. And then when you finish pulling your needle all the way through, you've got a nice secure little knot there holding your stitches in place. Now, a lot of people prefer to do a back stitch here at the beginning to anchor their threads instead of the knot. They say it's less bulky. For me, it's more of a challenge to try and get my back stitches straight and then get going the other direction again. So I prefer to use the knot method, but use whatever works for you. And then what we're going to do now is just start using that washi tape as a seam allowance guide. And we're going to start gathering the fabric on the needle. For me, it's easier to kind of fold and gather the fabric onto the needle instead of pushing the needle up and down to get a straight seam. Kind of pull it through, straighten your stitches out a little bit. And then you're going to take a tiny back stitch. Do this every time you pull your needle all the way through. And that will help you to keep your your line of stitching a little bit more secure. And we're just going to continue along the patch like this. And then when you get to the end, come up again exactly in that dot, just like when you started. Pull your needle through. Okay. And then you're going to take a tiny little back stitch and again, go right through the needle, right through the seam dot, and leave your needle in the fabric. Take your thread coming off the back of the needle and go over and behind the needle. And then take your thread that was in the fabric and go behind and above the needle and pull it through to make another little knot. And you can trim your thread. And now you have completed your first hand piecing seam. Ta-da! That was easy. Thanks for watching.